Y'all, what's good? So this video, or I guess the new video concept that I'm having, is the challenge concept. Challenge video. That didn't make any sense. We back. We got a challenge account. We got a $50,000 account on Thinks Markets. We haven't took a trade. I was supposed to take USD CAD, but I'm gonna show y'all the reason why we did not take that. And at the moment, we are still waiting to take a trade. Simply, the market is moving, but it's moving slow. I don't trade any like crazy condition markets. I like to really just wait for the certain setups that I always trade, certain looks that I look for, and once those are presented, we execute. But right now, last week we didn't take a trade. This week is looking like we won't take a trade. So basically like a 2-week off period. I don't like it because I like to be active when it comes to the market, but I also don't want to break my rules because I know what that leads to and I know what it does to my brain. So we simply just be patient and wait. I'm not a scalper, day trader / swing trader, therefore we have to wait longer than the typical trader to find our position. God bless everybody. Welcome back to another week. We have a pre-market analysis. Like you saw already, I am doing a new challenge with Think Market. If you want to get an account with Think Market, you can. I do not have any type of affiliate link, but if you do want to take a challenge, just know that I am taking a challenge with this company as well. So if you want to, go do it. Today, we are here to break down the market. So good. USD CAD this also looks good. You can see the recent breakout towards the downside, having the continuation towards the downside, breaking past these recent lower lows. As price broke that recent lower low, you can see how now price is forming some type of retracement. We still have 23 hours until this daily stick candle closes to see if we can have that retracement. If price does continue towards the upside, that's fine because this is a deeper retracement, which we do need before price has the continuation back towards the downside. We've already tapped back into the recent daily break of structure, which is good. 4-hour time frame, this looks phenomenal. Actually, you can see how on the 4-hour time frame we have our structure, and on our structure you can see how we went from bearish to then bullish to then back bearish due to the breakout of this recent higher low. Once price broke out of that recent higher low, you all know we grab our tool, mark off our zone, we count the rejections. Right now we have way more than 2 rejections because of here, and here, and a little bit of here. We have multiple signs of price not wanting to break through, which is amazing. That's what you want to see as well. And price is now working its way back up towards this area of interest. Like I said, daily time frame, we have to be patient, allow price to form this daily candlestick closure before we are able to look for entries. But as of right now, this does look good. We have the 15-minute time frame perform the bearish to bullish flip, getting back towards this area of interest, which I want to see. And then later on down the road, well, later on throughout the week, we can possibly find our entry due to the flip of structure going back bearish, right? So simply wait for the flip of structure going from bullish to bearish, getting back underneath the zone, presented you with the entry confirmation and route that trade. So USD CAD, definitely my top pair. With USD CAD, the further explanation, I wanted to make a video so it can be better understood. One, based off of us in the visual aspect, and two, just I wanted to make a video so I don't have to continue to type. Daily time frame, like you know, we only use the daily to identify the trend and to identify the retracement of the market. The daily time frame has not only gave us the continuation breakout towards the downside, but also followed up with a beautiful retracement back towards our area of interest. This area of interest was found on the 4-hour time frame due to us forming a beautiful break of structure of these higher lows. If we draw out structure, you can see how price was trending in a downwards trend. As price was trending bearish, we then had a break of structure due to these lower highs, which was then which was then followed up by another break of structure due to breaking past these higher lows. Once price broke past those higher lows, you know price is now going from being in this bullish trend to now back bearish, and at the moment price has formed the retracement back towards this area of interest, which is what we want to see. Not only are we forming multiple signs of rejection, not only is this zone is a well respected area of interest, as you can see, treated as support when we are above. And if I go zoom out, look for further off to the left, I'm sure enough you can see resistance. But 4-hour time frame, beautiful, well respected zone is what we want to see. We have the rejection. As we go towards the 15-minute time frame, this is where we need to be patient and wait for the shift of structure. Like you all know, in order for price on the 4-hour time frame to form this retracement back towards the recent broken structure, the 15-minute time frame has to go from bearish to then bullish in order to reach this zone. And you can obviously see how price was bearish, and then price flipped bullish due to us breaking out of these lower highs to get back towards this area of interest. And now we can see how price went from bullish to back bearish, but we were not in our session to trade, and the daily time frame has not yet formed that daily stick closure. So as price performed this first break of structure, it did not matter because we simply were not ready to trade it yet. And then as price performed that break of structure, you can see we then had another continuation towards the downside due to price breaking out of this lower low being here. We now have our lower high, and then price had the switch of structure going back bullish, breaking out of these lower highs, and at the moment we are simply bullish. What I want to see is price continue moving towards the upside, forming new higher highs and higher lows, and then forming that break of structure on the 15-minute time frame. If price can perform this type of break of structure, that would then leave us with a 30-minute bearish engulfing, which will ultimately be our entry signal to ride this trade back down towards the downside. The 30-minute time frame, you can see we are bearish due to price going from a bearish to bullish flip, and as price was in this bullish run, you can see the break of structure around here to get us back in this bearish trend. The 30-minute is already bearish. The 1 hour, well, 1 hour time frame, we are still bearish. You can obviously see how price has this lower high point being here, but price did not have enough momentum to go and break past that lower high. Instead, we formed that rejection, staying in this bearish trend. So not only do we have the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the 30-minute time frame in a bearish trend telling you price is ready to sell off, but we are simply waiting for the 15-minute time frame to perform some type of 15-minute bullish to bearish flip. Once this is able to be presented, we will find our entry, ride this trade towards the downside, and simply enjoy the show. If price does what it's looking like it wants to do, is go and break these lows right now, depending on what our risk to reward looks like when it is presented. If price does present us something like this, that's ugly. That's a huge gap. Actually, yeah, no. If price does something like this, I will simply not be looking to enter. Why? One, because we are away from my entry zone. Like I tell you guys all the time, I want to be at that entry zone before I'm looking to enter a trade. So if we're not at that entry zone, I simply won't enter my trade. And then two, like we just talked about, we're far away in no man's land. We talked about this. We want to get in where? On the potential lower high, being this point here. We do not want to get in as price is already moving towards the downside, presenting us with the downtrend structure, well, the downtrend momentum. If price is showing you momentum is pushing towards the downside, we're no longer at this area of interest, and we are now in no man's land. Simply, you shouldn't enter the trade. Why? Because if you enter, not only will your stop loss be too big, but your take profit, like always, we have to aim for the first structure point. When you're aiming for that first structure point, minimum, we want a 1 to 2. Price is not going to give you that 1 to 2 due to you being in no man's land and trying to get in as the momentum has already took off. We want to get in around here at the potential lower high. Now we have a tighter stop loss. We have a bigger risk to reward, and the trade just overall looks better, right? So simply just wait, don't rush it, and Wait for price to present you with the opportunity. So, like I said, we will be waiting for the 15-minute time frame to perform the bullish to bearish flip. If that is possible, we will then be entering this trade come later tonight, and we'll go from there. Like always, updates will be posted, so stay tuned and don't miss them. I'm gonna catch y'all. What's good? I do apologize for the background. I'm in the midst of doing laundry, folding clothes, so just gonna have to deal with it for right now. Right now, we're still looking at USD CAD. Showed you all. Well, I told you all before why we were not ready to enter a position on this trade. Obviously, we can see the aftermath of if we did enter a position, how price would have wicked you out. Well, form that wick towards the downside, overall faking you out, and then overall coming back to retest that zone once more. For our time frame, we look phenomenal. We still have this lower high being here, so price doing anything in between does not really show or cause any eyes to widen up or have any type of emotions otherwise when it comes to finding a position, just due to us still staying well within structure. Daily's bearish, 4-hour bearish, and we are also still underneath this beautiful zone, which I do love. What I want to see next is come later tonight on the 15-minute time frame. You guys know already, obviously price has worked back into a bullish trend due to us reaching that zone once more. We were in this downward, well, in this bearish trend. Price had the continuation here, and then you can see the flip from bearish to bullish due to the breakout of this recent lower high. At the moment, we are bullish on the 15-minute time frame, but like we talked about, wait for the continuation towards the upside, which is then followed by the break of structure. Once that is presented, 30-minute time frame, sure enough, will leave you with some type of bearish engulfing where you'll find your entry, stops just above, and then targets, like always, being that 4-hour low structure point, right? So this trade is still valid. We are looking for opportunities later, and I do want to find a position on this. Right now, price has formed the retracement, which looks beautiful. We are still maintaining underneath this zone, the 4-hour area of interest, which we did find on the 4-hour. But on the daily time frame, you can see how this zone has been treated as support, and we have finally broke through. This has taken us 102 days in order to break through this point. Basically, what is that? What are we in? April? Yeah, 3 months in order for us to break through here, which is pretty good. One, it took a very long time for price to break through this area of interest, which goes to show me that this is a well-respected zone. And since price did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections before breaking through, I would love to see that same thing happen from the lower half. And if I go right here, click invert, you can see what I'm looking for when it comes to rejections of resistance. This same thing I want to see happen, right? So if price can give me that rejection on a daily time frame, maintain underneath, this will be allowing the 4-hour to potentially form this double top formation. It's looking like it wants to form. We have the neckline that is also being formed right here, which is good. We have a 4-hour double top scenario going on. We still have this 4-hour zone being respected. We still have us maintaining underneath. As long as price can stay underneath, I still find this to be a very high probability trade. Price is forming rejection with a 1-hour time frame. We're still maintaining below this area of interest due to it being our lower high on the 1-hour time frame. If we draw out structure, you can see how price had the break, well, continuation break, the retest of the structure. We tried to break highs. We did not break highs, form that rejection. Price had to push. Now having the second pullback towards this zone. At the moment, price is showing rejection. I am anticipating rejection, which is then followed by the fall. But who knows? Still got to be patient and see what actually happens within price. But come later tonight, this is looking like a valid trading opportunity. So like always, updates will be sent out. Y'all stay tuned, stay close to your monitors, and catch the position and capitalize on opportunity later. So like always, updates will be posted, and I will catch y'all later. All right, so we're about to hit a run. The previous recording, or y'all seen it when we just broke down the chart, we missed that trade. And I'm going to go more in depth on how we actually missed the trade, not the trade being invalid, but it was invalid. So I know it sounds confusing, but we're going to get there. I know you can't hear me. I'm going to do a voiceover. We're about to run. I'm gonna do a pacer today. I usually do 5K a day, and I just go from there. I've been trying to up my running and just get in a routine of running. So yeah, it's been going. So we got a pacer. I'm gonna do 2 laps around, and then do like a debrief towards that pole. After I do that, then I'm gonna do like a little pacer run where we sprint the straightaway, jog the roundabout, sprint the straightaway, jog round, and then go for around 3 miles. So yeah, I'll update y'all when I'm done. Look at it. I end up missing, bro. It is what it is. But we're about to hop in the shower and we're about to discuss how we missed this setup. We broke it down like you all saw, but I'm disappointed. But it happened for a reason, just to be more aware for next time. So I'm happy it happened because it's not gonna be a next time. And just to let y'all know, mistakes still happen no matter where you are in your point of trading. Mistakes will happen. That's why it's important to just learn from them and just keep going. So let's break this down. We did the mistake again. As I was recording the breakdown, no audio was on. So we got to do the video again. It's not going to be long though. So what happened, how we missed this trade, it sucks, man, but you know, it happens. It's a part of trading. You live and you learn. You treat the bads as the good, so you're able to learn and you just keep going. So on the 4-hour time frame, obviously we know what we were waiting on. The daily was bearish. We had the break of the daily lows, the retracement, and as price formed that retracement, not only did we form a deep retracement towards recent structure, but the structure was found on the 4-hour time frame. And how we were able to find this area of interest is simple. Only thing I do when I'm looking for an area of interest, I start on the daily one to identify the trend of the market, the overall movement. Once I'm able to do that, I then just wait for the 4-hour to be in sync. So the daily was bearish, I wait for the 4-hour to be bearish. And as the 4-hour is bearish, in order for me to find my zone, the only thing I do is I wait for the last broken structure. Once price can break through some type of structure low, showing me that price 1 is bearish, and then 2, we just broke through this area of interest, I simply wait until price shows me that break. After price shows me the break of structure, I mark it off, and I just wait for price to retrace back towards this area of interest. Once price can retrace back towards this area of interest, I will then wait for that shift of structure on the lower time frames, and then we will ride this trade back down towards the downside like so, right? Looking something like this. Simple as day, wait for the break of structure, find your zone, use that zone. And so that's how we found this area of interest. So the one thing I want to say is that price, well, my box was not drawn out right here. When I first drew out the market, I was basically just rushing. I started at my high, I was marking it off. We had the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then as I continued to go, I saw myself count this area as a pullback. This is not a pullback, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because if we simply just move this line chart over there, right? If we look at this, in order for me to count this as a pullback, we have to have a strong change of direction like we did here, 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 and here, right? You see when the market is moving, we have a sharp turn other direction, sharp turn other direction. This is not a sharp turn. This is like a hiccup in the road. It didn't drastically change the direction of the market. If anything, price had a hiccup and then a continuation. I don't mark this off as a retracement. Same thing is here. As price is moving, you can see sharp turn, sharp turn, sharp turn, sharp turn, sharp turn. Is this a sharp turn? No, it's a little hiccup in the market. Just keep following structure, sharp turn, following structure, sharp. You use it to help you identify structure a little bit more. So after me marking this off, and we're just going to continue, but obviously I was wrong. So after me marking this off as a retracement, I then continue. I did my higher high, had my higher low, the break of structure, well, the lower low. We had the break of structure. So due to this being my break of structure, I moved this box towards this area right here. So once price tapped back into this area, this is when I tell you guys all the time, drop towards the lower time frames, wait for that shift of structure. So as we drop towards the lower time frame after price tapped back into my area of interest, you can obviously see how price did present us with a beautiful shift of structure. You can see that shift of structure take place here. You can see how price was in this bullish market, and as price was trending bullish, we formed this higher low. And in order for me to find any type of entries in the market, I wait for the 15-minute time frame to match up with my higher time frames. The 15-minute time frame in this case was bullish. Why would I enter? I have no reason for you because I wouldn't enter. So I simply wait for the break of structure to take place. And as you all can see, the first break of structure happened around here. I wasn't up. 10 to 15 minutes later, I woke up. I wake up every day around 7:15, 7:20. But as soon as I got up, I saw the retracement that price is forming. I saw that we formed a new lower low, and I just waited for the breakout. So once price showed me another break of structure, that's when I found my entry. One, based off of this breakout, and then two, based off of this beautiful bearish variation pattern. You can see how we have 3 bearish candles with a lot of momentum falling towards the downside. Little to no wick towards the upside, which shows me a lot of bearish momentum is stepping into play. So after I saw that, found my entry, stops just above, and then target, like always, targeting my 4-hour lower lows. And you can see how price fell directly towards targets. But once this entry was presented, you can obviously see one thing that took place. We were too far away from my entry zone. I do not care if price presents me with the perfect entry that it could have ever presented me with. If we are not in my entry zone, I simply don't trade. This is why we did not enter this position. But the one thing that I caught myself doing wrong was what I told you guys earlier when I marked this off as being a higher low point. Due to this not being the legit higher low point, and due to my actual higher low point, we can draw out structure again so you guys can see. My actual higher low point, or my actual structure point, would have been where? It would have been here at this break of structure. You can see clear as day price going from this bearish to then bullish to then back bearish. And if we just look at the market like so, we have such a cleaner structure break around here. Not here, but here, right? So now if I just move this towards the correct area where price showed me the overall structure break, you can see now when the entry was presented, I have my stop loss close towards my area of interest, which is what I want to do. And then two, price is basically at that area of interest where you should be looking to enter your trade. And that is truly how we missed the setup. We just simply placed my area of interest, a little bit too high. And due to price being a little a few pips away from the actual break of structure, it resulted in us not catching this setup. So truth be told, if I simply would have just moved this down to the correct overall structure break, I would have found this entry and we would have got back a 3.32% on this setup alone, which would have been amazing to start off this challenge. But we did not catch this position, we did not enter this position, and we did not capitalize on this position. So it is what it is. You know, it sucks, but that's what happens when you are a little bit off when it comes to marking off your areas and using the correct structure points. That's why I always say, like, just take your time when you're marking off structure, because as you all can see, the smallest little detail can really mess up your entry when it comes down to it. So just take your time, identify the correct structure breaks, and mark those off and use those zones and capitalize when that time comes. So yeah, we missed this setup, but it's okay because it was still ideal setup, textbook setup. So this is what you want to look for, and it was presented. It was just a little bit, off when it came to our zones, which is fine. It happens. We live and you learn, like I told you, and we go on to the next trade. So yeah, that's it for this. Let's finish that video. On the way to the gym, we actually got another trade possibly later tonight. We just got to see if it develops GBP USD. We're going to do a breakdown on that, and we're going to go from there. But if y'all want to see more, I guess, like behind the scenes of what I do, I always say behind the scenes. If you just want me to be more natural when I open up this camera, well, pick up the camera and start recording, let me know. I typically just record about charts, but I would love to do like different stuff, like psychology videos, just day in the life videos, even though I don't do a lot, but just different videos that still involve trading, but just some type of mixture to it. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Time goes on, get comfortable with it, start switching it up. But right now, going to the gym, and we got legs, so I'm about to hit legs. It's Thursday. My body's tired, but ain't nobody else gonna do it but me. So we gotta go do it. Good trade though, real good trade. Very, very, very well planned out. I didn't break down it yet. We're about to go in there, not right now, but we're gonna do the breakdown over that, how we missed it, what I did wrong, because that was an A+ setup, just did not enter. We still have a chance. Like I said, GBP USD, have to be patient, see what the Lord has cooking up for us, and go from there. Updates when I get back.